And you know what time it is? It's time for KP's Video News. KP's Video News, y'all. KP's Video News, y'all.
Time for KP Video News, y'all. You know what it does, y'all. KP's Video News. Yep. And it was a story that popped up over the weekend. And I'll tell you, man, something shaky is going on. Something real. Somebody's out there faking, shaking and faking, man. I'm telling you. Because we got a lot of people that are not buying this explanation. Because you got a video that shows a cop just like throwing a plastic bag into a car that he stopped. And so, hey, I'm going to go on with the story here. So you got a Wisconsin police chief trying to throw that spin on everything, trying to come to the defense of one of his officers who was the subject of a viral video that showed the officer throwing a plastic bag into the back of a car he pulled over on Wednesday. In the video, which was discovered, and a passenger in the car can be heard saying, "Hey, what's that?" The officer, who hasn't been named, publicly responded with, "What's what?" In the exchange that played for about less than 20 seconds, and the passenger questioned the officer said he saw the cop throw the bag into the car and was recording. He said, "I got you on camera," the passenger said, and the officer responded, "I got you on camera too. We all good." And Caledonia Police Chief BAGGIE said in a statement released Saturday that in conducting an internal review of the incident, additional footage from the body cameras of officers in the scene reveal the officer, they claim, is not planting evidence of doing anything illegal. So this is BAGGIE stated, you know, that the cop wasn't doing anything illegal. In the earlier statement, the police chief asked the public to please be patient and said there's a lot of information to review. It's difficult to ask in the aftermath of George Floyd's murder captured on video, which was for many an eye-opening look into how police officers savagely treat people of color. In response to the Caledonia Police Chief's video, and are beyond telling of how much distrust there is in the communities throughout the country regarding police. What was the probable cause for them being searched in the first place? And you know, you don't search someone's car because they're speeding. This video has some BS and the statement and the statement made. So alleged 6 hours after the footage, we got time. Said, "I got pulled over for speeding. The passenger nor myself were ever pulled asked to exit the vehicle." And this is what a white Facebook user stated. Justin Davis, another Facebook user, stated, "If you pull the baggie off the dude, he wouldn't have thrown it back into the car. It would be on the cop's hood as evidence. Clearly a dirty department." And earlier today, the Caledonia Department, this was BAGGIE's initial statement. The police department was made aware of the cell phone video that is circulating on social media platforms depicting the actions of Caledonia police officer. We were able to locate the call for the service associated with the cell phone video. This Caledonia Police Department is conducting a comprehensive internal review of the incident. All officers assigned to patrol duties are equipped with body-worn cameras, and preliminary information includes the officers on the scenes of this incident all had their body-worn cameras activated. In addition, marked Caledonia Police vehicles are equipped with dashboard-mounted cameras. As a part of internal investigation, we will be reviewing those videos. We also need to gather information from all officers who were present, and the complete review will take some time, but I have reviewed portions of the body-worn camera video. Please keep in mind that the cell phone video that is circulating only depicts a small amount. So what you got is you have a cop that pulls the guy over, and this is what the officer stated. This is what Bosch stated on the 21st. Said the officers conducted a traffic stop for a vehicle traveling 63 in a 45-mile zone. The vehicle was occupied by a driver along with front and rear passengers. The driver was identified by a driver's license, which was female, and the front passenger lawfully declined to identify himself. So you don't have to identify yourself. You're just a passenger in the car. The rear passengers were not wearing the seat belts and were asked to identify themselves. The driver and the rear passenger were later removed from the vehicle. A subsequent search of one of the rear passengers produced an empty plastic bag from the passenger's pocket. The empty container did not contain any illegal substance. However, this type of packaging is common method for holding illegal drugs. The empty corner tag was then turned over by the searching officer to another officer who was on the scene. That officer turned it over to the officer seen in the video. So that's three officers touched this bag. And since there were no drugs in the package, the officers discarded the empty package material back into the vehicle. This is what is observed on the video. The front passenger tells the officers that his actions are on video, and the officer replies he's also recording the incident. The officer acknowledges to the front seat passenger that he put the item there and explains that it was taken from one of the passengers, and the officer did not want to hold on to it. Essentially, he appears to be discarding the empty baggie. While we would discourage officers from discarding items into a citizen's vehicle, the video is clear that the officer, and so additionally, the empty corner tear is not itself illegal. No arrests were made, and as a result of this incident. And the only arrest citation arise was from the speeding citation issued to the driver. Wow. So, oh man, I'm telling you, man, you got caught. You got caught. That's why you didn't charge him with anything. You got caught in the act of trying to plant something on these people's car, and you're gonna try to twist it up and make it like, oh yeah, well, that was just standard procedure. No, it's not. The cops are not gonna go in your car, find a baggie on one of the people in the car, and just take the baggie, say, oh well, this is empty, and just throw it back in the car. How come you didn't throw it on the ground? How come you didn't keep it? How come you didn't check it to see if it had any kind of drug residue or whatever in it? There's just too many unanswered questions here, and I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it either. So anyway, that's just my opinion, folks. It sounds a little fishy to me. Anyway, a black man in rural Ohio's Perry County fights for justice after attack he deemed racist. And Leon Davis was just checking his mail. It was a little over a year ago. It had been a rough day. He had awakened to the sounds of fireworks and beer cans clinking amid drunken laughter at 2:30 in the morning, 2:30 a.m. The people next door had partied all day on the 4th of July, all the way into the 5th of July, setting Davis, who suffers PTSD, on edge in his normally quiet neighborhood. Davis, a 65-year-old black man, paused, steeling himself before recounting the rest of the day's events, which led to the southeast Ohio village where he lives to prosecute the 3 white men on a complaint that they beat Davis in a racist attack. Defendants in the case, through police records, said the fight was not racially motivated, but Davis disagrees. The pending cases have challenged local prosecutors and the attorneys representing Davis, and the resulting complications have called into question the effectiveness of Ohio's ethnic intimidation charge, the state's sole hate crime statute and tested the aspect of Marsy's Law, a legal provision that gives victims such as Davis constitutional protections. On that morning in 2020, Davis picked up his wife Rhonda, and they got something to eat. And the couple went to the grocery so they could pick out a roast for the dinner, and they stopped at their mailbox, one up the street from their trailer home. Rhonda reached for the mail when her husband noticed a crowd in the rearview mirror, including the same faces who had partied throughout the night. They had assembled in the garage of Davis's next door neighbor. Fear washed over Davis, who lived in Perry County, a rural community whose population is about 36,000 people, is 97% white. For the past 13 years, they quickly drove down the gravel road toward home. When Rhonda, who is white, so this is a black guy and he has a white girlfriend, got out of the car, she said she heard the crowd in the garage stating, "You in-loving bitch." One man, Joseph McCabe, charged toward Rhonda. She said Davis, armed with the windshield scraper, jumped to defend his wife, and then they attacked him. "Get the N-word, Joey, get him." And he said the group called after him. Davis said he handed his wife a bag of groceries while he tried to usher her into safety. Meanwhile, McCabe, who had run over to Davis' property, tried to sucker punch him. Davis said Rhonda said she begged her husband to hand over the scraper, afraid if Davis did serious harm to someone, he'd wind up in prison. Davis said he picked up a brick from his garden and threatened to beat McCabe, but on second thought, dropped it and prepared to face off unarmed. He said he pinned McCabe to the ground, but that another man, Charles Williams, then choked Davis from behind. Carl Fink, the next door neighbor, hit him, Davis said, and all three men proceeded to kick and stomp Davis, he said, until Rhonda screamed that she had called the police, desperately crying and that they were on their way. But she had lied. Davis explained Rhonda was unable to retrieve her cell phone during the fight, and it was only until she told them the police were on the way that McCabe, Williams, and Fink sprinted off. When they left, Rhonda did call the police, who responded with one officer to Davis's home 20 minutes later. I have seen evil men, Davis said. I have seen people destroyed physically and mentally, and I've seen that crowd of people. When I see them run at my wife, I couldn't believe it. It was really happening to me. And so the racist inserts were hurled. And on July 20th, 2020, a group of neighborhood boys, including Fink's two sons, were watching a crude 10-second animated video of a gorilla titled "Look at This Monkey," in which the narrator emphasized the word monkey, which was one of the boys said repeatedly out loud within earshot of Davis. So Davis told the police he yelled a couple of neighbors' kids to go get their mother after the boys yelled racial slurs at Davis and his wife 3 days before he was attacked. The incident inspired the 55-year-old McCabe to shout at Rhonda, "You N-word loving bitch, don't ever say anything to those kids or I'll kill you," she stated to the police after they recounted in an interview. And McCabe told the police that Davis had spit at him near the mailbox and called him a cracker, instigating the fight. Fink wrote in McCabe's dictated statement, but because the letter was too drunk to write, according to the police report, that a colored man picked up a brick and smacked Joe with the brick. Before, McCabe and Fink referred to Davis as a colored man multiple times throughout the police statement, and Williams wrote in his statement that he hopes Davis gets help to become unracial as everyone in this world is supposed to be. After Davis petitioned the Lexington Police Department and the Perry County Prosecutor's Office to charge the man, he said, attacked him. McCabe was charged in Perry County Court in September 20th with 3 misdemeanor charges of assault, aggravated menacing, and ethnic intimidation. It took another month and a half for the village solicitor to file the same charges against Williams and Fink. And so I don't really remember the N-word being a prominent thing that Fink stated. That the N-word is mentioned 8 times in the 19-page police report, which includes witness statements. So they're going back and forth legally. Miscommunication between Perry County solicitor, the office prosecuting McCabe and Fink and Williams cases, and the Ohio Crime Victim Justice Center, the nonprofit agency representing Davis, have complicated Davis's fight for justice. So this got a bad communication going on between these different organizations and these different jurisdictions and police. You got county police, you got the city police, and then you got the attorney for Mr. Davis. He said so. Both the county and the city and the village are waiting for an official ruling from the court and are uncertain whether the visiting judge presiding over the McCabe's case, Judge Dean, will be assigned to Williams and Fink's cases. So we don't know. They say it's up to the court to make their determination on how to handle this thing. So you got a state that doesn't have a hate crime law, and they're doing this, going through the motions, man, with this nonsense. This nonsense going on. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next cop case. So, got cop case here. We got the activists occupy a vacant New York City store, and they hollering at the black New York police officer is a slave catcher working for the KKK, engaged in violent clashes with the police. And a wild scene unfolded in New York City on this past Saturday after activists commandeered a vacant retail property. When New York Police Department officers evicted the squatters from the retail space that didn't belong to them, activists became furious and went on tirades against the police officers, and as the police officers alleged that they became violent. Activists posted a bulletin on July 20th that read, "Community members took back the vacant commercial space at 1083 Broadway. Vacancy is community neglect. We deem that this resource be under collective control to serve the community here forward." So they tried to take the property and use it for the community. And the left-wing activists dubbed the occupied space as the gym, and said the vacant store provided an open place to rest, discuss things, barbecues, dancing, and connecting people to social services. The activists demanding that the landlords, Darworth Development Corporation, turn over usage of the space to those who have cared for their property and each other for the past year. So these people have been taking care of the property and trying to keep the property up for over a year now. The activists declared the landlords are integral to the systematic exploitation and neglect of the Brooklyn Myrtle Corridor since the 1970s. When workers reportedly attempted to access the commercial space, which was allegedly had been vacant since August 2020, the activists began occupying the building to stop them from gaining access. Police were then called to remove the squatters from the commercial space and use bolt cutters to remove the locks, and the activists had put on the doors, which were also barricaded from the inside. Police reportedly needed to use a chainsaw to get inside the commandeered space. And the New York they attempted to document the situation. Activists employed Antifa tactics to prevent him from recording the video, including using an umbrella to block the camera. And so, they had the videos and of this whole situation. And of course, I'm not going to show the videos because I don't have the rights to the video. But I'm telling you, man, they these people, man, I mean, I don't know what's going on in the world today. Every day, man, it's always something. It's always something. So they alleged that the angry demonstrators were caught on video screaming derogatory chants toward the officers and a woman specifically targeted a black officer and shrieked, "You're named after a slave catcher. You have a slave catcher's last name, and you're a slave catcher." Another woman claimed the NYPD officers working for the KKK. And oh boy. So, you know, hey man, guys, you got the job. Knew the job was dangerous when you took it. Super chicken. Anyway, on with the last story. The last story here, we have as the first gymnast from Costa Rica to ever qualify for the Olympics, Luciana Alvarado made history before she even stepped into the arena. The 18-year-old then used her unique platform to make a demonstration in support of Black Lives Matter. And at the end of the floor routine, Alvarado took a knee, put her left arm behind her back, and raised her right fist to the sky. The pose combines movements that other athletes across multiple sports have utilized to convey their stances on current events. The demonstration begins in the video, and after the podium training, Alvarado confirmed that the pose was intentional. "My cousin and I, we both do it in our routine," she said, "and I feel like if you do something that brings everyone together, you know, and if you see that here, like, yes, you are one of mine. You understand things, the importance of everyone treated with respect and dignity, and everyone having the same rights, because we are all the same and we are all beautiful and amazing." So I think that's why I love to have it in my routine, and I love that my little cousin does it too in her routine. Alvarado's demonstration is the first of its kind on the international stage in elite gymnastics. The pose is part of her floor choreography, and she performed the routine during the fourth subdivision of the women's artistic gymnastics qualifications. Luciana Alvarado from Costa Rica representing. All right, folks, you know what time it is. KP Video News, y'all. You know how we do, y'all.